The lake was supposed to be my refuge, a quiet corner of the world where I could breathe again. 2 years ago, I buried my husband, Tom, and his laughter still echoed in my mind, sharp and cruel in the silence. We dreamed of this Placia patch of land by the water, our final chapter. I came alone to write it, my boots sinking into the mossy soil, the air thick with pine and silt. But peace, I learned fast, doesn't come cheap. I'd barely parked my truck that first morning, the dawn painting the lake gold, when I heard the crunch of gravel behind me. I turned, expecting a deer or maybe the wind. Instead, it was a woman, Linda. I'd later learn clutching a clipboard like a weapon, her pearls gleaming, her smile too tight to be kind. She didn't know me, didn't care. In her eyes, I was an intruder on her turf. She had no idea I owned this land, free and clear. She didn't know what I'd buried to get here, or what I'd do to keep it. Linda's voice cut through the morning chill, soft but edged. "Excuse me, are you with the renters the HOA approved?" Her brows were already pinched, like I owed her an apology. I squinted against the sun, sizing her up. She was older, maybe late 60s, dressed for a garden party, not a lakeside standoff. "No," I said, voice steady. "I bought this land. It's mine." Her face froze, eyes screaming disbelief. "That can't be right," she snapped. "This parcel borders the greenbelt. HOA rules cover the lakefront." I didn't argue. I just pulled the deed from my satchel, notarized and stamped by the county. Her eyes scanned it, hunting for a flaw. There wasn't one. "This land was never part of Meadow Lake's charter," I said, calm but firm. "I bought it outright. No HOA." Her lip twitched. She wasn't used to losing. "You'll still need to follow our guidelines," she said, voice dripping with fake sweetness. "We value cohesion." I gave her a thin smile. "I'll keep that in mind. But I'm not in your HOA." She hesitated, then turned and marched off, her heels crunching like gunfire. My heart pounded, not from fear, but from the audacity of her assumption that my solitude needed her permission. I tried to shake it off. I'd come for peace, not a fight. Over the next few days, I kept to myself, clearing brush, cleaning the old fire pit, hanging a wind chime on a dogwood tree Tom's favorite. I stayed on my land, never crossing into their precious HOA zones. But somehow, I was still the enemy. By the second day, a man in a golf cart cruised by 3 times, radio blaring across the water. On the third, a sign appeared near my path, "Community members only." I took it down, leaning it against a tree. By week's end, it wasn't just signs. A note was taped to my truck, no header, just a warning. Failure to comply with HOA aesthetic guidelines will result in fines. My hand shook, not from fear but fury. They thought they could bully me out, make me doubt the security I clawed back after years of grief. They didn't know who I was. I didn't snap. I documented. I called the county to confirm again that my land was exempt. I photographed the signs, the notes, the golf carts. I built a mental fortress, the kind you forge when life strips you bare and leave you standing. Tom and I had promised this lake would be ours. No clipboard-wielding stranger was going to ruin it. When Linda returned, she brought back up 2 men, one with a camera, another with a measuring wheel. They muttered about easements and lot lines, circling like vultures. I let them. I'd spent nights reading Meadow Lake's charter. The 1987 Plat Pro, VYing my land was separate. I'd hired a lawyer, Emma, quietly. When Linda thrust her clipboard at me, I cut her off. "Talk to your attorney before you step here again." Her mouth snapped shut. The cameraman shifted. I turned to the lake, wind on my face, feeling something new, not grief, not anger, but control. Linda's next move was personal. I found an envelope under my windshield, my name in bold. Inside were photos of me, my cabin frame. The lake snapped without consent. Some from neighbors' yards, others too close, marked with scrawled insults. Disruptive eyesore. Outsider. This wasn't just Linda. It was a campaign to paint me as the VY lane. My blood ran cold, but I didn't crumble. I logged every photo, cross-referenced shadows and angles, matched them to my surveillance footage. I was building a case, not out of spite, but serve VY Val. I drove to town, handing the envelope to Emma. Her face darkened. This isn't just harassment, she said. It's invasion of privacy. We're going to court. I nodded, the weight settling on me. I hadn't come to fight, but when stones keep flying, you build a wall. Passing the Meadow Lake board, I saw a flyer-me cabin with a red question mark, titled, "Do we know who she is?" It claimed I was illegal, a threat. I didn't tear it down. I photographed it. Let them think they were whispering. It was traceable. Back at the lake, a surveyor named Jack showed up, claiming a random check on a complaint. I walked him through, showed the deed, the permits. He nodded, impressed. "Someone's got it out for you," he said. "But you're solid." I thanked him, wondering how long before Linda called him a traitor. That night, I wrote in my journal, not with tears but precision. This wasn't about shouting. It was about outlasting. The hearing came after a storm, the lake still as glass. I wore Tom's favorite jacket, packed my folder, journal, USBs. The community center was a stage luxury cars, folding chairs, Linda at a table with a binder, smirking. The room went silent when I entered. My name card read property owner in quotes. I tore it in half and sat. Linda read her script unity, aesthetics, how I threatened their world. She recommended sanctions, forced removal. Then she smiled. I stood, voice sharp but calm. I laid out the deed, surveys, tax records, Emma's cease and desist. I showed the photos, the flyer, surveillance stills of flag tampering. I held up my journal. Every page documents your attempts to erase me. Every time you failed. A board member asked Linda if she'd verified the land status. She stumbled. He moved to dismiss all actions. Linda's voice cracked, desperate, but the room shifted. They weren't fighting. They were retreating. I left, sunlight clean on my face. Back at the lake, I walked my land, fingers brushing the flowers I planted. The cabin was rising, not just wood, but truth. That night, I closed my journal for good. The fight was done. I looked at the stars, whispering, "I'm still here, Tom. No want to move in me." The lake reflected the sky, steady, whole mine. What do you think? Was Linda just a control freak? Or did she have a point about community standards? Should I have compromised to keep the peace? Or was fighting worth it? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you're on my side, and subscribe for more stories of standing your ground. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.